So always try to eliminate the answers which are not relevant. Then finally you will ignoring the keywords most, best, first. So read the question properly. These keywords completely CISSP is managed oriented. Always think from business risk perspective. In today's video, we are going to understand one of the most important cyber security concepts, which is CIA Trade. Welcome to CISSP Quick Sips. This is Nandana. So, you don't have to worry about the concept as we are going to see everything explained with real-time examples and CISSP style questions. So this CISSP is the most important topic in the certification exam as well as to understand the real-time scenario. Why should you learn CIA Trade? So almost every security concept in cybersecurity connects back to these three important principles, which are confidentiality, integrity, and availability. Whenever a security incident happens, even it can be a small malware which affected your computer, one of these three principles is actually affected. Either it can be availability of the data or the systems or the services, or there could be an integrity concern or a confidentiality issue. So in CISSP exam, we can see many questions related to these topics. You constantly keep hearing to these terms, even in your exam or in the real world projects when you're working in your companies also. So if you understand this topic clearly, many other concepts becomes easier. So first, let's go back to our first trade, that is confidentiality. So only authorized people should access sensitive information. That is nothing but confidentiality. Not everyone should see our data. So examples like bank passwords, your medical records, salary information, government identity data like SSN, Aadhaar card, and some personal chats. So, to protect your confidentiality, organizations use some controls like passwords, multi factor authentication, encryptions, role based access controls, approval workflows, and many others. If you consider a real time example, imagine someone is reading your WhatsApp chat without your permission. This is a confidentiality violation. Now, let's see an example question. If an employee accessed HR salary records without authorization, which CIA principle is violated? So, first, what are the three CIA traits we have? Confidentiality, availability, and integrity. So, because unauthorized access happened here, confidentiality is the trait which is affected. Next, move to the integrity. So, integrity means data should remain accurate, correct, and trustworthy. From the data collected to the data destroyed, integrity should be maintained. That means the data should not be changed in between. Even if the data is available, if someone changes it incorrectly, the data loses in its integrity. So data should always remain accurate, correct, and trustworthy. So what is the data which should be maintained, without without any changes made? Something like your bank balance, payroll data, student marks, financial transactions. These are some of the data which integrity should be maintained by. Then, to maintain this integrity, we use some security controls. like hashing, digital signatures, checksums, audit logs, version controls. So all these topics will be discussed when the related topic comes up. Then let's see a real life example. So someone changing exam marks in the database. Recently, there is an incident which happened in some part of India wherein a particular university students are getting more marks compared to others. So that breach has been identified and it was taken into action. So to avoid such things, we should be following the security controls. Now let's see a scenario question. Let's take a hacker modifies transaction amounts during the transfer. Which principle is violated here? So obviously, integrity is violated because the accuracy of the data was changed. Now let's discuss about availability. So systems and data should be accessible whenever user needs them. That is nothing but availability. Like 24 by 7, we need ATM availability, banking websites, hospital emergency systems, VPN access for employees especially. So organizations maintain this availability using the backup strategies, disaster recovery, high availability, load balancing, and redundancy. Suppose UPI payment service goes down during the payments. What happens then? So it will be a big tension for you as well as for the banks. So your payment has been processed, but your amount has been deducted, but it's not delivered. So you generally see this kind of scenarios, right? So to avoid this, these security controls needs to be implemented. Let's take an example question. Suppose there is an e-commerce website like Amazon or Myntra or any other Best Buy, etc. It goes down during a distributed denial of service attack. Which principle is most affected? So whatever is the reason, if the website is seeing a downtime, it is causing the availability concern, right? Because users cannot access the service. That means the service is not available during that particular time. So how do you remember these traits easily? So we have a quick trick like confidentiality means who can see the data. You always, whenever you are stuck with something, just keep this question to yourself. Ask this question to yourself. Who can see the data? Talks about confidentiality. Integrity is can I trust the data? Is anything changed in between? That's what integrity decides about. And availability. Am I able to access the data? Can I access the data or not? That is speaking about our availability. So if you remember these three questions, you can solve many CISSP questions very easily. So some common issues or mistakes which we always make in the exam. So first mistake is confusing integrity with confidentiality. If someone sees unauthorized data, it is confidential. If someone changes the data, it is integrity. So don't get confused between these two. Then, second mistake you could do always is choosing a technical answer instead of a business focused answer. So CSSP is always, you know, concentrated or is always based on the mindset as you are a security person or you are a management side person, not like a technical person. You should always think like a business owner. So CISSP is management oriented. Always think from business risk perspective. Third common mistake is like ignoring the keywords most, best, first. So read the question properly. These keywords completely changes the answer. And finally, not reading the scenario. Sometimes one small word changes the entire meaning. So keep this in mind when you're answering the questions. Now let's take some questions which are scenario based. Let's take a healthcare scenario. Let me read the question for you. A hospital recently implemented a new patient portal. During testing, auditors discovered that patient reports could be viewed by unauthorized users due to improper access controls. So, in many countries, the patient's records or reports are not even shown to their family members, right? So, what should the security team address first? Whether they have to concentrate on availability, integrity, confidentiality, or non repudiation. So, always try to eliminate the answers which are not relevant. Then finally, you will be ending up with the right answer. So, because here the question talks about unauthorized people are viewing the patient's sensitive data. So availability is not affected because not even to authorized, it's even available to unauthorized people. So there is no question of availability. Integrity. So there is no change or misinterruption of data, misinterpretation of data happened here. So integrity is not there. And CIA trade doesn't have non-repudiation, so let's not concentrate on that. And remaining is C for confidentiality. So confidentiality is the right answer. So why unauthorized people access to sensitive patient data is a confidentiality issue. Second question is about banking scenario. A financial institution discovered that transaction records were modified during the transaction. Which principle is most affected? It's not availability. Let's take confidentiality, integrity, and accountability. Accountability is not there. So, in between B and C. So, whenever confidentiality comes, what's the question we have to make it yourself? We have seen that in the easy memory trick slide. Who can see the data? So the question is nowhere talking about who can see the data. It's saying that the records were modified during transmission. So which clearly says that integrity is the issue, right? So the accuracy and trustworthiness of data were compromised. That's where the answer is integrity. Next scenario is about a ransomware. Let me read the question for you. A ransomware attack encrypted all company servers. What is a ransomware attack? So, if a hacker has done something expecting money from you, then that is called a ransomware attack. So, which security object should be the primary concern? So, let's read the question again. A ransomware attack encrypted all company servers which by making critical applications inaccessible. Its security objective should be primary concern. So the applications are inaccessible here, which clearly speaks about availability. The service is no more available, and only when you pay the amount, this hacker is going to release the services. So the answer is availability. Systems and data became unavailable to users because of the ransomware attack. Next scenario is about executive decision. Suppose if a company wants to reduce the risk of employees accessing sensitive payroll information unnecessarily, which control best supports the CIA objective involved? I'm making sure that you read the question twice. That's why I'm reading the question again to make you habituated. A company wants to reduce the risk of employees accessing sensitive payroll information unnecessarily, which means even though if you have access, you are not supposed to access it. Just because you have access, it doesn't mean that you go and see the data. So, which control best supports the CIA objective involved? Backup solution, encryption, role based access control, load balancing. So, there is nothing about a backup solution here or encryption. And load balancing happens when a server is not able to perform huge transactions and it has to be balanced in between a couple of servers. So nothing is related here other than the role-based access control, which is the option C. So role-based access control limits access based on the job responsibilities. That's how it is protecting the confidentiality. Next is about audit log scenario. So, an administrator deleted audit logs after making unauthorized changes. Which principle is most affected? So, availability, okay, you can park this answer. Integrity, yes, you can also consider this. Confidentiality is not affected here because he is an administrator. Redundancy is also not affected. So let's decide in between A and B. Because audit logs can no longer be trusted because there is some unauthorized access happened, here we consider the answer as B, integrity. So the reliability and trustworthiness of logs were compromised in this scenario. Next is cloud migration question. So let's take a company migrating to the cloud wants to ensure business critical applications remain operational even during infrastructure failure. Even if the infrastructure failed because of some accident or some disaster happened or some natural disasters occur, the applications should remain operational. So, which security principle is most important here? So, integrity, there is nothing related to change here. Confidentiality, no secret here. Availability, yes, let's park this answer. Authentication, it's not related to this. So, finally, the answer is C, availability. Next is a encryption based question. Let's take a security engineer implemented full disk encryption on employee laptops. So, which CIA principle is most directly improved? Is it availability, integrity, confidentiality, or resilience? So, this is about encryption. Because encryption protects sensitive information from unauthorized access, so this is nothing but confidentiality. C for confidentiality. Next one is a database corruption scenario. So due to a software bug, customer records were modified incorrectly in the production database. So what security principle has been affected? So here it's a software bug, first thing. Next key point is it's the records were modified incorrectly. So because the accuracy of the records was compromised, it's directly affecting the integrity of the customer data. Next, DDoS attack scenario. So an online shopping portal became unreachable during a holiday sale because of a DDoS attack. So, what is a DDoS attack? It's distributed denial of service attack. So, because users cannot access the website It is talking about availability, where the answer is option C. So the service becomes unavailable during this attack because of some intentional activity. So that is availability mishap. Then a managerial CISSP style question. A security manager is prioritizing investments for protecting customer financial data. A security manager is prioritizing investments for protecting customer financial data. So, which objective should be prioritized first? Availability of marketing systems, confidentiality of customer records, integrity of cafeteria billing, availability of employee attendance portal. So, because protecting sensitive financial information is the highest business risk, the correct answer would be confidentiality of customer records. Because it's nothing about availability of marketing systems or integrity of cafeteria billing, and not even availability of employee attendance. So it's only about the confidentiality of customer records, which needs to be prioritized first. So this is something about CIA Triad, the core foundation of cybersecurity and CSSP. If you clearly understand these topics, you can solve many interview questions and CISSP exam scenarios easily. So let's revise the topic, what we have seen. Remember the simple trick. Confidentiality means see the data. Integrity means trust the data. Availability is access the data. I hope you have found this video useful. So please consider like, share, and subscribe to this channel. And also you can suggest me which topic you wanted to cover next in the CISSP Quick Tips. Thank you. Have a good day.